IB economics essay writing can be made very easy.
The question is explain why the overconsumption of demerit goods causes market failure. Now before we do the essay, remember that for the 10 marks essay, there is the Baggie Rule. What does it mean? Baggie stands for definitions, analysis, diagrams, and examples. Make sure that you include all of the items in your essay if all possible. And usually we will include the introduction in the first paragraph, and the remainings in the body paragraphs. Now let's get started. First of all, in our introduction, we will define the key terms. What do you think are the key terms in this essay? Right, it would be demerit goods and market failure. Now let's first define the market failure. It is the situation where the price mechanism cannot achieve allocative efficiency. Under market failure, resources are either over-allocated or under-allocated from society's point of view. And demerit goods are goods considered to be harmful to people that are over-provided by the market and therefore overconsumed, resulting in negative externalities from consumption. An example could be cigarettes. Now, here we can also define the term negative externalities, since it is also one of the key terms. Negative externality of consumption means that consumption creates adverse effects on a third party. Okay, now we can start off with explaining why overconsumption of demerit goods causes market failure. I always like to start off with a real-life example. So let's take cigarettes as an example of a demerit good. Now, in order to explain why overconsumption of demerit goods causes market failure, it is essential that we include a negative externality of consumption diagram in this context. So when introducing a diagram, how do we analyze? First of all, I would always like to mention that the social optimal level of output is where the MSC equals to MSB at point QS. I always start with the social optimal level because I think it is important to identify the optimal level of output and later on says how it deviates from the optimal level of consumption. Now, after we have drawn the social optimal point, we can say that the consumption of cigarettes creates external harm that is not compensated for. So meaning that there could be external cost or negative external benefit. So that we say that the MSB will not be the same as the MPB. So MSB is not the same as the MPB. The question is, where is the MPB then? Is it on the right of the MSB or left of the MSB? Since there is overconsumption, therefore the market equilibrium should be at a quantity that is higher than the social optimal quantity. Let me repeat. The market equilibrium quantity should be higher than the social optimal quantity because we say that there is overconsumption of something in the market at the moment. Therefore, the MPB has to be on the right of the MSB. Again, no memorization is needed for the diagrams. And if you have questions, please refer to the videos that talks about the diagrams explicitly. Now we have got the MSB and MPB on the diagram. So we can say that the market equilibrium is where MPC and MPB intersects, and the market quantity is now at QP. Okay, great, we have got the right diagram. Now let's proceed to explain the idea of the overconsumption on this diagram. We can further with our explanation saying that the MSB is smaller than the MPB because the external damages caused by consuming cigarettes is not accounted for in the MPB. An example could be the secondhand smoke. So if you refer to the diagram, actually, we can also tell this point on the diagram because at quantity QP, which is the market equilibrium quantity, the MPB is now at P2. However, the MSB is much lower. And as the MSB is equivalent to MPB plus MEB, we say that there is negative external benefit to society, meaning that the MEB is negative. And the distance of the MEB can be illustrated by the vertical distance between the MSB and the MPB. So the actual quantity consumed, which is at QP, is now higher than the social optimal quantity at QS. So consequently, cigarettes are being overconsumed. So it is great that we have talked about overconsumption. Now we also have to talk about the dead weight loss, because the question was asking for why overconsumption of desired goods causes market failure. It's because there is the inefficiency in the market. So we can say that at point QP, which is the market equilibrium quantity, the MSC is greater than the MSB. It means that consuming one extra unit will generate a greater additional social cost than additional social benefit. And therefore, any output to the right of E1 will lead to a loss of social welfare. And we say that this triangle is therefore the dead weight loss. So as a result, overconsumption of desired goods is a type of market failure where the price mechanism fails to allocate resources efficiently, and the inefficiency can be indicated by the dead weight loss. So I hope that this video can help you better understand how to write the externalities type of essay, especially how to explain the diagrams. You can explain it through step by step.
If you find this video helpful, give us a like, make a comment, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.